It's snowing. Day before Thanksgiving, 2011. Welcome to Maine. Hey guys, Fearless Front here, and as you can tell from the scene behind me, Old Man Winter is here. And he's a bitter old bastard, I tell you what. So guess what we're doing today? Well, I guess I'll just show you instead of making you guess. We're getting that thing going. I don't know what year it is, but it's an old Craftsman drift breaker. 10 horsepower Tecumseh, 32-inch cut. Dual augers. Flat tires. So before we pull the old blower out of storage, there's a few things I'm going to have to do. I'm going to do an oil change, I'm going to change the spark plug, fill it with clean gas obviously. I drained the gas last year, so that shouldn't be a problem. But last year, at the end of the year, I noticed it was weeping a little bit of gas out of the carburetor. So I went ahead and purchased a couple of gaskets for that, to fix that, and hopefully she starts right up and we can just get snow blowing. So here's the goods. 2 quarts of oil, little Champion J8C spark plug, 2 gaskets for my carburetor, and some gas. First thing I'm going to have to do, you can hear the air compressor running, fill these tires. Okay, so we pulled her out so I can actually see what I'm doing. A little more room to work out here. First thing I'm going to do is attack the carburetor. And basically that, way under there. There's my float bowl. Hello! Great spot for it. I'm going to try to pull just the bowl off without removing everything else. Just like that. Ooh, and it's actually clean in there. Yippee! Alright, so if this float bowl comes out looking really nasty and filled with rust and water, you really want to make sure you clean this out. And you probably also want to make sure you clean out your needle valve seat, which is what's actually controlled by this thing. There's a little needle valve up in there. You can just see, oh, right about there. You want to clean that little port if it's flooding all the time. But we're going to change this little gasket right up here, this rubber one. Holy shit, the snow is blowing. And I don't think we really need to clean anything else. I'm just going to replace the gaskets and put it back together because it was functioning properly last year. So here we have the old and new gaskets. This one's the old, this one's the new. And you can see that this rubber gasket's still very pliable. Obviously it's brand new, and we got our old one here. And it is a lot less pliable. That wasn't actually the gasket that was leaking. This one was more or less okay. But this is the one that was leaking, and this is the one that goes on the main, adjustable main needle. One thing you want to make sure you do is when you take your new rubber gasket here, before you install it, it's a good idea to take this, I got a little oil squirter here, just regular engine oil works fine, and just kind of get a little bit on the actual rubber gasket. Oop. And that's basically to help you seat the gasket properly, because a lot of times when you put these things in dry, they'll bunch and they'll roll up when you put the float bowl back in, and you'll have another leak, or you'll cut your gasket and you'll have to go to town and get another one. So just put a little oil on it and it'll save you a lot of headache. It's also never a bad idea to actually lubricate the inner lip of this float bowl on the top, so when we put it back up onto the carburetor you can kind of twist it a little bit and get that gasket seated. Okay, so now that we got our float bowl gasket back up in there, that little rubber thing, we're going to go ahead and reinstall our float bowl and our adjustable main with our new gasket. Just make sure you push it up in there and twist it as you seat it, and that will help you not destroy your gasket. There goes our adjustable main. You don't want to go super tight with these because you don't want to mess up the float bowl or break off the casting on the adjustable main. Just a little snug is all you want. Not even as much as a spark plug. after you put your fuel in, it's a really good idea to watch your float bowl where you put your new gaskets on and make sure you don't have gas oozing out the cracks. If you do, disconnect the fuel line, drain the fuel, and check your gaskets. So we're not leaking fuel, which is a good sign, so we're going to go ahead and install our handy dandy new spark plug. Not too tight. So I've checked everything. Everything seems good. We're going to go ahead and try to fire it up. This will be the first start since probably March or April of this year. It's now late November. So definitely an old start, definitely a cold start. It's about 30 degrees out right now. I'm going to run it a little while, warm up the oil, drain it, change that, and then I'll be able to start snow blowing. She's been running for a few minutes now, not a problem. Didn't even spit or sputter really at all, so that's really, really good. Gonna let it cool off just a minute and we'll drain the oil. So you can see the oil's all done draining there, and while that was draining I actually ran through with my handy dandy little oil squirter and oiled absolutely everything that was linkage or that moved. Specifically like the control here for the chute, the throttle and the engagement cables, some of the little linkages up in here. Just try to get everything you can the best you can. Now is a good time to put oil back in. Don't want to run it without oil. So here at the front of the snowblower, you've got this auger gear drive thing right here, and it's like a right angle gearbox. And this specific Craftsman model just uses engine oil, but one thing you want to do is take your little plug out. It's usually the fill plug and drain plug. Sometimes they have separate plugs, but this model just has one, and you remove this plug and basically fill up to the bottom of the hole or until oil starts spilling out, and then reset the plug and you're done. I also noticed that I'm actually missing a shear pin on my right side auger. The one on the left side is fine, so it looks like I'll be replacing that as well. So now that we've lubricated everything, changed the oil, changed the spark plug and the carburetor gaskets, we're going to fill it up the rest of the way with fuel, fire it up, and see how she blows. So one neat feature about this snowblower, and actually a lot of snowblowers share the same sort of feature, is you can see there's a little 110 plug attached to the top with a little black push button, and the wire runs down to the starter. And basically it's an electric start that plugs into your standard extension cord. No. So you can see she clears a nice path. It's working good. That's pretty much it for me today, you guys. Now I'm going to clear the whole rest of my driveway. Oh, fun. Enjoy winter. See you next time.